So, Pokemon Black and White, and the sequel Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, often heralded as the standout titles within the Pokemon franchise, differentiating themselves through their compelling and mature storytelling, intricate character development, and thematic depth. For this plot talk, well, let's explore how the overarching story of these titles set them apart from the rest of the series from a narrative perspective, comparing them with the other mainline Pokemon story games, and highlighting their unique qualities. One of the most distinctive aspects of Pokemon Black and White is their mature and thought provoking narrative. Unlike many other Pokemon games, which often focuses on the player's journey on the quest to becoming the Pokemon champion, Black and White goes deeper into the ethical implication of Pokemon training and battling, with a storyline that revolves around the enigmatic organization Team Plasma, led by the charismatic and conflicted leader N. The goal is to liberate Pokemon from what they see as the tyranny of human trainers, introducing a moral ambiguity that challenges players to think critically about the relationship between humans and Pokemon. The central question posed by the narrative, should Pokemon be free from human influence, adds a layer of complexity that's rarely seen in the series. So, guess the folks at Game Freak addressed all those memes we've been making. In contrast, the primary antagonists in earlier games like Team Rocket from Red and Blue or Team Aqua and Magma from Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are often portrayed as straightforward villains with clear-cut goals of domination or environmental alteration. They had a purpose in mind, not always well thought out. Looking at you, Archie. Flood the world with water, but the purpose nonetheless. But these antagonists lack the philosophical depth that Team Plasma brings to the series, making the conflicts in Black and White feel more nuanced and engaging. Character development is another area where Black and White excels. The characters in these games are not merely obstacles for the player to overcome. They have rich backstories and motivations that evolve over the course of the story, and in particular is one of the most complex characters in the Pokemon history. Raised by Team Plasma's leader Getsis to believe that Pokemon suffer under the human ownership, Ent's journey is one of self-discovery and inner conflict. As the players interact with Ent throughout the game, his beliefs are continuously challenged, leading to significant character growth. By the end of the story, Ent realizes that Getsis manipulated him and he must reconcile his ideals with the truth about the world. The player's friends, Seren and Bianca, also undergo notable developments. Seren started as determined and somewhat arrogant trainer, obsessed with strength and victory. Yup, Paul fanboy probably, but through his interaction with the player and other characters, he learns the importance of kindness and empathy. Bianca, on the other hand, begins as an unsure and clumsy trainer who gradually finds her own path and confidence, deciding to be a Pokemon researcher. Another great addition, Iris, the final gym leader during the events of Pokemon Black and White, who pulls a reverse blue move and returns to the sequel as the league champion of Unova. These character arcs add emotional depth to the narrative, making the player's journey more personal and impactful. In comparison, characters from other games like Blue, Red and Blue, or Barry from Diamond and Pearl have relatively straightforward development, primarily serving as the rival without significant personal growth or complex motives. Well, there's Silver, I guess. The depth of the character development in Black and White enhances the overall narrative experience, making the characters' interactions feel more meaningful. I guess we did this before, but the themes explored in Black and White are another factor that sets these games apart. The narrative touches on issues such as freedom, control, and nature of truth. Through Team Plasma's philosophy, the game explores the idea of liberation and questions the ethics of keeping Pokemon in Pokeballs. This is a significant departure from the usual Pokemon narrative, which generally portrays Pokemon training in an unequivocal, I'll use AI for that, positive light. The games also delve into the themes of truth versus ideals. This is symbolized by the legendary Pokemon Reshiram and Zekrom, each representing truth and ideals respectively. The player's journey involved reconciling with these concepts, culminating in a confrontation with N and his chosen legendary Pokemon. This duality and the quest for balance adds a philosophical layer to the narrative, encouraging players to reflect on their own beliefs and actions. On the contrary, the theme in earlier games like Pokemon Gold and Silver focuses more on the traditional heroism and personal growth with less emphasis on philosophical questions. The exploration of deeper themes in Black and White provides a richer and more thought-provoking experience. Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 build on the foundation laid by its predecessors, offering a direct sequel, the first in the main series. We disregarding Gold and Silver. These games take place 2 years after the events of Black and White, showing the long-term consequences of the player's action and the world's evolution. In Black 2 and White 2, Unova has changed. The region previously affected by Team Plasma's influence has begun to recover and grow. New cities and routes have emerged, and older areas show signs of rebuilding and progress. This continuity creates a living, breathing world that evolved with the player, adding a sense of realism and immersion. The return of Team Plasma, now fractured into two factions with differing ideologies, providing a fresh conflict while maintaining ties to the original story. Getsis remains a threat, driven by his desire for power, while the reformed member of Team Plasma, including N, seeks to atone for their past actions. This nuanced depiction of villains and complexity of their motives elevate the narrative above typical black and white morality. Ironic. In contrast, the other Pokemon sequels or remakes, such as Pokemon Crystal or Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, tend to retell or slightly expand the original story without significant change to the world or character. The direct sequel format of Black 2 and White 2, showcasing real-world consequences and changes, stand out as a unique narrative approach within the series. In both sets of games, the player's role extends beyond the traditional goal of becoming the Pokemon champion. The player is integral to the resolution of the game's central conflict, actively shaping the world and its future. This sense of agency and responsibility deepens the player's engagement with the story. The climax of Black and White, where the player battles N and then gets S, is one of the most memorable moments in the Pokemon history. The sequel's climax, featuring a confrontation with the revived Team Plasma and their plans for world domination, further cements the player's role as a hero who saves the destiny of Unova. These narratives emphasizes the individual actions and importance of standing up for one's belief. Earlier games like Ruby and Sapphire or even Sun and Moon have climatic battles and significant role for the player, but the narrative focus in Black and White on ethical dilemmas and personal growth adds a distinctive layer, and that makes the player's journey more resonant and impactful. Pokemon Black and White and Black 2 and White 2 distinguishes themselves within the Pokemon series through their mature storytelling, rich character development, and thematic depth. By challenging traditional notion of Pokemon training, exploring complex morals and philosophical questions, while evolving the world and characters over time, these characters offer a narrative experience that is both engaging and thought-provoking. Compared to other titles in the franchise, the narrative sophistication and continuity in these games provide a unique and compelling journey for the players. This narrative depth, combined with the player's active role in shaping the story, sets these titles apart as exemplaries of the storytelling in video games. Peace out, bitches.